The Fortune Teller, circa 1596. A small deception, a bold new voice. At first glance, the fortune teller seems simple, almost mundane. A young man, fashionably dressed, leans forward as a Romani woman reads his palm. He appears curious, maybe even slightly amused by the idea of learning his future. She, with a gentle but knowing smile, holds his hand tenderly, all while slyly slipping the ring off his finger. This quiet moment, frozen in oil and canvas, holds the spark of something revolutionary. There are no saints here, no angels or heavenly light. Just a subtle con, a shared gaze, and a silent game of power. And with it, Caravaggio makes his first bold statement. Art doesn't need mythology to be compelling. Sometimes it just needs to feel real. Behind the canvas. The Fortune Teller was painted around 1596, when Caravaggio was still trying to establish himself in Rome. He had recently left his position as an assistant in the workshop of Cavaliere Pino and had begun painting independently. This work, alongside the card shops, was likely meant to showcase his unique style, and it did exactly that. It caught the eye of Cardinal Francesco Maria del Monte, a sophisticated patron with a love for the arts. Del Monte recognized Caravaggio's talent and soon took him under his wing. That connection would open doors to powerful circles, major commissions, and the beginning of the painter's turbulent but legendary career. Art imitating life. What makes a fortune teller so striking is its commitment to truth. Caravaggio doesn't idealize or embellish. He observes. The two figures seem pulled straight from the streets of Rome, perhaps people the artist had seen, or even befriended, in taverns or markets. The lighting is soft and natural, as if the scene is lit by sunlight from a nearby window. No grand architecture, no narrative clutter, just two people, a table, and a moment of tension. Caravaggio hadn't yet fully embraced the deep shadows and theatrical contrast that would define his mature style, but here we already see the clarity of his vision. The story is told through a glance, a hand gesture, a smirk. Nothing is accidental. Every detail, the young man's embroidered sleeve, the woman's fingers at work, speaks of observation, not invention. The painting through time. Two versions of the fortune teller exist. The one in the Capitoline museums in Rome is considered the original, while a second, more polished version hangs in the Louvre. The Roman version feels fresher, the gestures more spontaneous, the gaze more direct. The Louvre copy, while technically refined, loses some of that raw immediacy. It's likely that Caravaggio reworked the theme once the original gained attention. The painting passed through private hands, possibly the Giustiniani family, who were early collectors of Caravaggio's work, and eventually found its way into the Capitoline collection, where it remains today. It may not command immediate or like his grand altarpieces, but stand in front of it long enough, and it reveals a quiet brilliance. What is it really saying? Beneath the seemingly light-hearted subject lies a clever subversion. Here, a marginalized woman, poor, Romani, likely viewed with suspicion in 16th century Rome, deftly deceives a privileged young man. But Caravaggio doesn't moralize. The fortune teller isn't a villain. She's smart, charismatic, and in control. Some art historians have read the scene as an allegory of art itself. Like the fortune teller, the artist deceives, but with beauty, with illusion, with a sleight of hand. Who is really being tricked? And who holds the power? Roberto Longhi called the fortune teller one of Caravaggio's first steps toward his radical realism, a move away from mannerism and toward the grit of everyday life. Helen Langdon described the painting as a moment of social irony rendered with theatrical simplicity, while Peter Robb argued that its very choice of subject was a declaration. Art could be powerful without relying on gods and martyrs. And maybe that's a trick. The painting is about deception, yes, but also about the viewer's own blindness. We see, we think we understand, but the truth lies in the gestures, in the glances, in what's almost missed.